City of stars, are you shining just for me? City of stars, there's so much that I can't see. Who knows? I felt it from the first embrace I share with you. That now our dreams may finally come true. City of stars, just one thing everybody wants. There in the bars and through the smokescreen of the crowded restaurants, it's love. Yes, all we're looking for is love from someone else. A rush, a glance, a touch, a dance, a look in somebody's eyes, to light up the skies, to open the world and send it reeling. A voice that says I'll be here and you'll be alright. I don't care if I know just where I will go, 'cause all that I need is this crazy feeling, a rat-tat-tat on my heart. Think I want it to stay. City of stars, are you shining just for me? City of stars, you never shine so brightly. Well, happy Friday, friends. Oops, little earthquake with my foot. Welcome to the blog. You know, obviously I did a year and then I kind of called it off officially, and I've just been kind of blogging as wanted and desired, and I think it was good to take a little break, and I'm not sure, you know, if I want to go forward with jumping back into it again, but I think it does help me. I know that, you know, those of you who struggle have shared that you enjoy it, so I would like to get back into it a little more regularly. That was City of Stars from the Golden Globe winning La La Land. Now, the story about this movie is that when my parents were here before Christmas, my mom's like, let's go see this movie. It's going to be so good. Great. It's a musical. I can't wait. Awesome. And then we get there, and of course, you know, all the previews are like super emotional and sad, and, you know, they're going along with this theme of, you know, maybe somewhat romantic comedy. And I'm like, before the movie even starts, I'm just not happy. There's the dog movie. Like, never gonna watch that. So the movie starts and I'm like, oh, this is, you know, awesome. This is so good. And it's really resonating with me, like, as an artist and a musical theater lover and just everything, musician. But, you know, a spoiler alert, the movie does not end how I want it to end. And, you know, that's real life. And it is a fabulous movie, but at the time, it was just too much for me. It was just kind of so connected to my life in different ways. But I was very upset, and I was just like, why'd you bring me this movie? This is horrible. I'm crying. I'm so upset now. And so now, a few weeks out, I can appreciate it, and hopefully we'll maybe be able to watch it again in the future, because it really is a beautiful movie, and they did an awesome job. It definitely deserves all the awards it won, but it took me a while to be able to sing this song, which I now love, and everyone in my house is like, can you please stop singing that? But I also like this song because there's just kind of this thing, a lot of the songs that Audrey liked, but there's just this thing with stars with Audrey, and so once I started singing this, it brought that connection, which I enjoyed as well. There was a couple things I want to talk about today. I had a little list. One of them being that, you know, I'm not a big rules, New Year's resolution, you know, restrictions. You know, I'm very, like, floaty. But I was kind of convicted the other week in church about my depression, and it wasn't, you know, a negative thing, but, you know, sometimes when we know we have work to do, it's hard for us to, you know, you're sitting there and you hear that and you're like, okay, this is what's coming up for me right now, and I kind of have to face it. You know, I've never really felt like I'm a victim. I don't feel bad for myself that I have depression and anxiety, but it does suck a lot of the time, you know, to be frankly honest. It's just sucky. It just sucks. It sucks. And there's other things that suck, and there's worse things that suck. And, but you know, that's my sucky thing. And obviously I've shared a lot about that with you guys. But I do think I let it get the best of me often. You know, kind of like, well, I have this, and what can I really do about it? It's not that I don't pursue healing through, you know, so many multitude of methods. But just sometimes I do know that this is my life. It's the lifelong thing. You know, there's not really going to be a cure. You know, maybe as I get older, it might lessen a little bit, or, you know, the wisdom experience will ease things to a certain extent, but it's, you know, this is it. So sometimes I'm kind of like, well, this, you know, yeah, I just kind of let it bowl me over a little bit. And again, it's not that, this isn't about anybody else or to make anybody feel guilty. And sometimes, you know, there's nothing we can do. But for me, in my situation at this point in my life, you know, facing this challenge, I felt a little convicted to just kind of to stand up to it a bit more, and to just face it with a little bit more, you know, not of like, I'm going to just pull myself up by my bootstraps and fight this, because, you know, I don't feel like I have that strength on my own. For me, my strength comes from God and my faith, and from outside. So just wanting to look at it with a fresh perspective that, you know, even though it does suck and there's many days that I can't get out of bed or that I'm explosive, you know, that behavior does affect those around me. And, I do want to just be a little bit more proactive about it, and, you know, not give up. And I think I've been very down on myself lately, and, you know, after kind of going off the blog, you know, I've been wanting to get back to it, but, you know, the fall was a lot different than we thought it would be, and losing Audrey was a big impact on a lot of our lives. And that impact doesn't go away. You know, we're learning to deal with that. And I felt a lot of guilt, like, well, you know, I'm not Audrey's direct blood relative, so I shouldn't be as upset about this. Or, you know, obviously Audrey's parents and sister and, you know, people, you know, grief does weird things to your mind. So I felt like I maybe didn't have the right to be as affected, which isn't true. I loved Audrey so much. Audrey was a huge part of our life, and it will always affect us. And so, you know, I wasn't sure how that situation would affect, you know, my depression. And I don't think it necessarily, you know, made it worse. Obviously, it was a hard fall. The holidays were, you know, hard, and, you know, it will be hard. It's going to continue to be hard. And, anyways, I guess the word that came to mind for me was self-control, and not in a negative way. John was speaking on Sunday about self-control is a fruit of the Spirit, not a work of the flesh. So that's what I mean by it's not my, you know, own volition, but by relying on that external strength, that I can continue to face this and, you know, go through each day with it, not in a desperate clinging way to control my world, but in a positive way that more flows out of me. That, you know, yeah, there'll be good days and bad, but, and I'm sorry, this is going so many places. I had like this little list of all these things I want to talk about, but yeah, I was encouraged, and I think today was the first day that I honestly woke up feeling happy. And so, you know, you're getting this up thing, and I've been down for a while, and, you know, maybe I kind of needed to wait for that to come back on here so that, all the thoughts could process through a little more clearly. Because when you're down, everything is just this ball of confusion. And it's the same thing with grief. Everything just feels like, and there's no kind of direction or forward movement. So I'm hoping to make forward movement this year, and self-control in a positive, natural way of just being a bit more, maybe I'm courageous, but like I said, proactive. Who knows? Best intentions. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this song as much as I did. Please see the movie. Probably most of you will be able to handle it much better. I was definitely, in a very down spot when I saw it, but it's really beautiful. They did a wonderful job. Anyway, so hopefully I'll be seeing more of you and vice versa. Thanks for listening. This was long, but I had to get it all out. And also I'm excited to say that I am back to teaching my second and third voice students. So, I had one for a little bit. A friend asked me to do that for her daughter, and it was a great experience. And now she's gone on to a teacher that can take her where she needs to go. My skill set at this point is rather basic, but I think it's actually possibly at this point an age that I prefer. Just looking back on how I probably was at that age, and wanting to encourage, and nothing too serious, just giving them little tips for how to. I told them my rules are to have fun, to love your own voice, because that's very important, and we're always our own worst critic. So love your voice. It's unique and beautiful. And that any question's a good question. And I maybe had one other rule, but the most important thing about singing is your breath. Okay, so there's a lot crammed in. Hopefully next time be a little more fluent, but yeah, here I am, and I'm wishing you all a happy new year, and I pray that we could all just put a lot of love out there for ourselves and for others. And I also want to say that hopefully these blogs are my way of helping to combat, negative stigma around mental health. That's my goal, is to help bring awareness for that, and any other issues that people are feeling alone. You're not alone. We're all in this together. So reach out and be in this together with people. Let's use these more than this. And I'm always a listening ear if you need to talk. All right, I'll see you soon. Namaste, guys.